I think they need to work with the people that they represent. We've had really good responses from, as I mentioned earlier, from Kevin and Adam. Jonathan was great as well, in fairness. Although this is a Senedd decision, he cajoled the Energy Minister up in Westminster for us, and that's what I will be doing, actually, is lobbying the Energy Minister, because we need to have a system, or we need to have a policy and a system that works for us here. What works in other parts of the UK isn't what works for us in Wales here, with our heritage and what we have here. We have to respect what's been here before in order that we can move forward. For our children and my grandchildren's sake, really, we need to respect what we've got. And I don't think this is doing that at all.
Well, up until now, just as a candidate, I have been able to bring people together to have those difficult conversations and make sure that I am advocating on behalf of the community that I seek to represent. In Parliament, if I'm successful, I think we will be in a stronger position to further that argument, because we'll have a Labour government in Westminster, fingers crossed, and also in the Senedd. So having a voice then that can pull those opinions together, bring those two sides together, I think is going to be really important for us as a community moving forward. So that strength of advocating will just increase. I'm lucky that I've been able to speak to shadow cabinet members on this issue already. But being a voice, I think, in Parliament who can work with the next Labour government to achieve the changes that we need here, I think is incredibly important. So those are the things that I would be focusing on then as a potential Member of Parliament.
I think it's a combination of what the public can do and what politicians can do. Politicians will react to public pressure and public sort of feelings on these matters. And, I'm going to say something obvious, which is, if people feel strongly about a position being taken by, in this case, our elected government in Cardiff in the Senedd, then it doesn't matter whether it's a general election or a Senedd election or even a local election for that matter. They need to send a message, and the message has to be, look, I don't like this. And whilst you might not have complete responsibility, I do want to send you a message you can take back to your leaders, that you're not doing this in my name, you're not doing this in my community. And that is, as they say, the only language we understand. And up to a point, it's true. We are ultimately, we react to the volume of messages, and if at the upcoming general election there isn't a sort of local reaction to these things, I think it's an opportunity missed. If you want my honest opinion, I think that it's a really good opportunity for people affected by these schemes to say, on this occasion, forget my historic allegiances. Just wanted to make it absolutely clear to you, Mr. Gethin in Cardiff, that I do not approve of this proposal.
The reason I want to go to Westminster, if I'm going to be honest, is because 400 kilovolt cables are decided up in Westminster. 132s are decided in Cardiff. 400 kilovolts are placed or are organised by National Grid. 132 can be Joe Bloggs and their partners, really, as long as they have this licence from Ofgem. So my feeling is that we need a Carmarthenshire voice up there fighting this, and somebody who's understood it, somebody who's fought this battle right from the word go, who understands the difference between the 132 dual circuit line and a 400 main line, which will come down from Bangor to Swansea, but that might well be Bangor to Llandyfeilog with the size of the substation that's being built there. So we just need to have somebody there that understands this and isn't afraid to fight the fight, and I will fight the fight.
If I was the MP for the area, whether or not I'm based in Cardiff or in London, it gives me the platform and the justification and the authority, if you like, to go not only to developers but to planners, whether it's Carmarthen County Council, to go to the Senedd, to the relevant ministers, and say that these projects are unacceptable, and I have legitimate reason to say that. I've got legitimacy because I can turn to an electorate and say, these people voted for me in order for me to deliver this message to you. I am now delivering that message to you. Now, as I say, in terms of UK government policy, if I'm in government, that's great. We can do something about that. If it's, the local MP and the Senate, it sets it up very powerfully, I think, to be able to say, and others will do the same, to say enough is enough.
I think there are a couple of things that politicians need to be doing. The first of which is to make sure that they're out there listening and absorbing as much information as possible and educating themselves on this matter. The second thing, I think, is to be able to advocate as clearly as possible, whether that is in Parliament, in the Senedd or elsewhere. Making sure that we're standing up for communities will be crucial. And also working together on these solutions. That, for me, is something that will inevitably lead to stronger results for us locally.